You're tuned into the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla, Kallander, and Andrew Yaggie. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
It's episode 99 of the It's Real podcast. I'm Kayla Kallander, and I'm a mortgage lender.
I'm Andrew Yaggie. I'm a real estate agent.
Yes, you are. How's it going, Andy?
I'm doing really good. It just came to me, and I think about music all the time. And episode 99, first of all, wow, what a milestone to get there, almost to episode 100. But it made me think of the song 99 Problems. If you're having mortgage problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems. But a good lender ain't one, especially
closing ain't one.
With Kayla Kallander.
I love that. And hey, we'll have to do something special for our 100th or something, because that's coming up.
It is.
Yeah. Did you think we would make it this far?
You know, I guess I never really gave it any thought. I thought, hey, let's go and let's do it and let's see if it sticks. And yeah, I guess it stuck. And even though there were times when we maybe haven't been as consistent because life is busy and a lot of client and life and family and other needs, but no, it's a lot of fun. I honestly, this is one of my more favorite pieces of my week, Kayla, just getting to connect and talk with another great professional. And then, I just think of our friendship over the years and, from NDSU on. And so it's kind of fun.
It is fun. And I think too, it's like, this is proof that you don't have to be perfect at anything or have a plan. I mean, sometimes we come on and it's like, what should we do? What should we talk about? What are you seeing? And it's real and raw with us. It's not scripted and it's none of that. And I think you and I both were like, well, let's just try this and see where it goes. And we've had success. We've had good luck. I've had people reach out. I've got friends that are like, I love that podcast because it's local too. And real estate is local. And we talk about it all. And you just get, our audience just gets kind of like an unfiltered kind of version of us for the most part. So
I can't believe KFGO or WDAY or someone haven't called yet, Kayla, or maybe we'll just skip the AM band and right to Sirius XM. But maybe we're already a step ahead just being online.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I'm glad to be here. I'm excited we've made it this far. So yes.
Amen. Hey, did you watch the Super Bowl at all?
I mean, not really. I mean, I had it on, but I was doing other things. What about you?
No. I think the Seahawks won only because I think I maybe saw a post, but I didn't see either of the halftime shows really. I didn't watch it. Football's just not really my thing, and we just kind of had a quiet night at home. But I did catch this piece of the halftime show. Did you catch this with Bad Bunny, Kayla?
You don't have a pre-approval. Don't ask for a showing. Wow. I mean, Andy, I'm still shocked how people are doing that. I'm still shocked. I see it all the time. I'm like, what is happening? So Bad Bunny's got it right there. Let me tell you. So
yep, he's not wrong.
Don't be looking at homes. I did watch the halftime show. It was like catchy. It was like, I didn't understand any of it. Not that that's a bad thing, but I enjoyed it. And I didn't realize that the grass was people. Did you know that? Like, I don't know if you saw like the grass.
I saw like a quick time-lapse video of like how quick they brought everything out, which I mean, the production piece is always the most impressive to me. How they can throw something together and like, I'm kind of a techie and I've done sound and lighting and everything before. So I just look at that and it's like, wow, I'm blown away by the production piece of it more than anything.
Did you watch like the other halftime show with like Kid Rock? I didn't either. I didn't even know where to find it.
No, I think you can find it on YouTube. They say it was the most streamed thing live ever. And supposedly causing a lot of chaos and fear within the NFL and everything, just because it's like, wow, like they planned this out in less than 5 months and it was the most live streamed event ever, even though a lot of people are like, oh boy, there was barely anybody there compared to the 165 million that watched the Super Bowl or whatever. There were 5 million, 5.5 million live and probably some other channels. But hey, boy, I think that's very impressive. But no, I haven't taken the time to watch either.
Hey, that's okay. I mean, because you're wheeling and dealing, man. You got a lot going on. How's business? What are you seeing in the market this week, last week? What's on your docket?
Well, Kayla, I think the little stretch or little bursts of nice weather really has gotten people thinking about, hey, what are my goals this year? And am I making a move? And let's do something. Some of the groups that we're just signing agreements with, we've been talking to since last fall.
Wow.
Other individuals, like I had a group come to me the other day. It's always interesting in this business, like this home that I'm going to list. It'll be the third time that I've sold this house. I sold it to a gal that moved it
Wow.
to a year later. She's like, Fergus Falls really isn't for me. I'm going to go back out west. Another individual bought it, used a different agent, but now, even though they didn't work with me on the purchase, they're coming to me and saying, hey, we love your online presence. We love your marketing. We see you everywhere, your video, your signs. We want to work with you. You're the right choice. So that's always really fun.
Nice.
We're having, some more buyers too that are coming in like, hey, we're ready to do something. So it's kind of
Mhm.
interesting. A lot of people say that it might be a lot of the same as it was last year. I think it's going to be a better year than last year, Kayla.
Mhm.
What about you?
I feel like it is too. I think I think I've said this before, but there's just a lot of pent up energy of like, okay, I'm done. Like this is the year. I even had a client that said to me, she's like, I've just been sitting for 2 years and I could have owned, and here I am. I'm sick of it. I think the whole rates are going to drop. Wait for them to get in fours, and I think individuals are just like, you know what? It's more important than just a rate. People are paying a lot higher rates on their cars and their credit cards and their boats and their everything. And I think they're just over the fact that that is one thing that's dictated their decision. So
Right.
I think we're going to see a lot of people come out, and yes, the warm weather helps as well, a little bit warmer than 20 below. And then again, we're seeing a lot of refinances, a lot of people having talks about refinances, a lot of people on the fence. And what I'm seeing is, we had people that would have killed to have a 6% interest rate, a 5.875, a 5.625.
Mhm.
And there are people now that it's just funny to me. They're at 7 and 8, they're at 7, and they're like, I'm just gonna wait for rates to drop. All the while, they're missing out on savings. And I know that everyone has their own goals, but we're seeing quite an uptick in that. So if you're a mortgage lender or you're working with a mortgage lender, they're going to be a lot busier dealing with all these clients that they closed in the last few years, trying to help them save money as well.
I just saw that. I saw that you kind of had a post, Kayla. And I'm kind of curious about refis. How many people that come to you to refinance do a cash out refi versus
Oh
just looking
gosh.
for a lower
Yeah,
rate?
a lot of people do, if they have debt. If they have debt that they're like, I just want to pay this off, 1,000% we're seeing it. So they'll take out $40,000 additionally above what their payoff on their mortgage is, and maybe they'll pay off this debt at 12%. This debt, a lot of credit card debt we see. I think a lot of people accumulated credit card debt because they thought things would get better, things rates would come down, things would get cheaper, and they didn't. So there's a lot of individuals that have racked up a lot of debt, and this is a perfect opportunity to leverage the equity that you created in your home to pay off this higher debt. So we do see quite a bit of that.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. So
Mhm.
I was looking here at some of your myths.
Yeah.
Um, and people really think, Kayla, you can only refinance once.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, well, I'm just going to wait until it's, at the lowest. And there's really no way to do that. There's also no limit to how many times you can refinance. But yes, you will pay closing costs again. But ultimately, it's, in 2020 and 21, I was refinancing people multiple times. They're like, okay, 4%, we're going to pay down the rate. We're going to refi at 4. Then rates went to 3.5, then 3. And I remember seeing 1.875% on a 15-year. Now it was buying down the rate, but you can refinance as much as possible, but I'm surprised to see so many people like having their break even be like 6 to 12 months, meaning after that, you break even. The cost that we rolled in, like you've recouped that, and then you can refinance again. You're not out anything, but you are going to continue to save $2 to $1,000 per month. And you know that, if rates dip, you can do it again, but there's no limit ultimately.
But Kayla, I don't really want to refinance because, I'm 5 years in on my 30-year loan
Yeah, I get that.
and I don't want it to reset to 30 years.
Yeah, well, you don't have to, Andy. A lot of times we will do the exact term that you have remaining. Some people will say, "Yeah, put me into a 30, stretch out my payment more. I want to have more cash flow." So it just depends on the person. A lot of people that are a year or two in are like, "Just let's do the 30. I'll make a couple extra payments. It'll be fine." Some individuals are like, "I don't want to reset the clock," and so we don't. It just depends on their goals.
One thing that I think of a lot, and that I saw you point out here as well, closing costs.
Mhm.
And man, I don't want to pay a bunch of extra closing costs. It's going to really negate any of the benefit.
hmm Yeah, and that's a common question we get is what's the cost to refinance? And you hear about no closing cost refi, which is technically a thing. Ultimately, when you refinance, you might have an appraisal. I have many people that don't need an appraisal. I've got VA loans that are happening right now. We don't need appraisals. I've got clients that have great LTV or the file allows us to not have to have an appraisal. So it's ultimately any bank or lender fees, title work, recording, credit, flood, things like that. I've got one right now, $2,200 to refinance, and I'm going to do the math because I have to think of it. And they're saving $218 a month. Their break even is 10 months. So it's like, yes, it costs money because we're redoing things and there's third parties that have to do their job, but it's an investment in the savings. Is you're going to pay this, but the goal is you're going to save thousands. This client was like 94,000 over the life of the loan, the one client I have. And it's worth it at that point for sure.
Sure. What about, I saw kind of your final point here. I've got to reduce my current rate by 1%. Talk about that,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, well, if it's 1%, then I refi, right? Well, it depends on the loan amount. If you've got $1 million loan amount, a quarter is going to make a huge difference in your monthly payment. Versus if you've got $110,000 loan amount, a quarter, not so much. So it really depends. Also, a lot of individuals are switching terms. They're going from a 30 to a 25 to a 15. And so depending on that, that might make a difference. Or maybe they're wanting to increase the term. Some individuals are wanting to get rid of mortgage insurance, private mortgage insurance. I have a client that his credit score wasn't so great right away. And after a year, it's so much better. And his mortgage insurance is going to drop significantly. So it truly just depends on every client situation. But that 1% rule, not true. I've got clients saving, roughly 0.75 and they're still refinancing and they're saving hundreds per month and putting money in their pocket that they can invest or pay off debt.
Are there any scenarios as we're talking about refinancing, Kayla? Like, let's say,
Mhm.
okay, someone's got a rate at 2.5%. Are you seeing anyone refinance and be like, hey, I either want cash or, I've got some debt I want to pay off, or I want to make some home improvements? Boy, it's really, really painful in my mind to even say the refinance word when I've got that low of a rate,
Yeah.
but I've got a lot of equity in my house.
Yeah, constantly. What's crazy, I just had a client last year. They spent a lot of money on in vitro and they were at a 3.625% rate, I think. They had ended up basically racking up debt that they couldn't get paid down. What we did is a blended rate. So we put in the rate that they pay on all of their other debt, the term, we put everything in their 30-year fix, what they have, and it tells us what they're actually paying in a total interest rate. And this client, we were able to free up, I think I'm not 100% certain, $1,800 per month by taking him from a 30-year 3.625 to a 30-year, I want to say it was like 6.25, 6.375. I can't recall for sure. He bought it down a little bit, but to go from 3.625 to the sixes sounds wild, right? But not
No.
when you're saying I'm taking this equity and paying off this debt that's on a 5-year loan, this debt on a 20-year. And ultimately, that was what they needed to free up cash flow to feel good about, not living paycheck to paycheck. So we see it quite a bit.
Sure. Well, and really at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people, do not have, a lot of complexity, in their financial situation. I mean, not to say that people don't have debt and don't
Mhm.
have retirement, don't have things to think about, but when we talk about 7 out of 10 people out there often living paycheck to paycheck, like we talked a couple of episodes ago. The biggest issue individuals in that situation have, Kayla, is a cash flow issue.
Yeah.
And even for individuals who are doing, even on the other end of the spectrum, who are doing well financially, it's great to have assets. It's great to have a high net worth possibly, but even more important than net worth is cash flow. And how are you living your life? What are your goals? What are you striving towards? So being in too tight of a spot and having all of that equity just really doesn't make a lot of sense for anybody.
Right. And I had a client the other day. He's like, well, hey, I've got, we've done like these 2-1 buy downs. And it's like, hey, I'm going to have daycare for the rest of the year and then it's gone. Or, hey, I'm going to be moving and coming into, a big chunk of money. Or, everyone has these different scenarios that they're in. And that's why it's not one size fits all. And people, you really need to talk to a mortgage lender, have the conversations, but don't just ask for a rate. They need to know what your scenario is and where you want to get to. And I think that's when it clicks for people. They don't just say, oh, I'm saving $200 a month. Not worth it. It's going to cost me $2,000. Having the conversations is so important.
Have the talk.
Have the talk. Yep. Okay. You gotta.
I like your last slide. Stop letting recycled advice cost you money. Stop shopping, start strategizing. So you're a strategist now, are you?
I am a mortgage strategist. It just kills me though, because I see that these people that are in these 7%, they can get, at least 1% lower. And I'm like, you would have done anything for that rate when you bought, you were so upset about that rate. We're here, we've got it. But I also understand people, if you want to gamble and see if they go lower, go for it, and that's where that break even point, it comes in, because I've got a girl today that we're refinancing and their break even is 7 months. She's like, cool, if they dip, then I'll refinance in 7 months again. So yep. But there's no magic pill, no magic time frame, no magic solution. It's ultimately based on your goals. So was that helpful?
Kayla's miracle elixir.
Yes. The
Stop
refi
shopping, start strategizing.
Yes. Because when you shop a rate, you can have the lowest rate, but it's probably going to cost you the most money. And some people don't want to be spending $30,000 for a rate on a house they're going to have for 2 years. I know I wouldn't. So, yeah.
I like it. Speaking of houses, so refi is obviously kind of an important thing that more people are starting to think about. But I would imagine you're probably working with a lot of buyers. A lot of people are, coming out, putting purchase agreements together. You're seeing kind of an uptick in that.
Yes, I'm seeing quite a bit. I'm seeing a lot of people, even if they're a year out, taking advantage. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying, hey, I just want to get started. I want to know where I'm at. So we're seeing a huge uptick in that, Andy.
Did you know, Kayla, that there's a great online tool for those who want to get educated if they're just starting the process? Or actually, maybe they've bought a home before and maybe, they don't remember a lot of the details and they're thirsty for knowledge. I hear that there's a really good webinar online. Have you seen it?
I didn't know what you were getting at. I have seen this. I hear it's extremely helpful. And I hear that the hosts are just a hoot.
Right on. Yeah. I think it's another huge milestone. It only took us about 100 episodes as well, but to get a homebuyer blueprint webinar put together, you can go, I've got it on my website, behind the scenes, andrewyaggie.com/webinar. You can come and take a look at it. And Kayla and I, Kayla, you did a lot of the legwork on it, but, just kind of talking about, what you can actually afford, biggest mistakes, down payment myths, how the home buying process works in today's market, and how to really position yourself to win. So it was really kind of fun putting this together. So feel free, if you're interested in that, go over to that website, andrewyaggie.com/webinar. You can register. It's on demand, so you can watch it at any time. You can watch it really as many times as you would like. But I think a lot of good information.
Yeah. And I think on demand is what people are wanting these days. Don't get me wrong, like having an in-person, pizza and pop and getting to, talk to people face to face. That's great. So many individuals want to watch something while they work out or watch something in the convenience of their home. And so that's why we created this on demand, is clients can watch it anytime. Like you said, rewatch it. And we really tried to pack in just as much as we could to help prepare people of what to expect versus having this reactive energy that a lot of home buyers experience because they didn't have the education. So we hope that people listen to it and enjoy it. And yeah, thanks for being part of it with me, Andy.
Yeah, thanks for letting me, Kayla. It was fun to put together. It really was.
It was like something we talked about for what, like 2 years?
Yeah, a little while, but we
Yeah.
didn't have a date on the calendar, and so therefore we weren't really working towards a goal. And hey, life
Yep.
happens.
Yep.
And
No, we didn't.
I too really love the on-demand feature of everything. Like I mean, I love knowledge and self-improvement, and we'll sign up for a lot of different courses and things. And it's pretty rare that I can actually sit down and Tuesday at 2 o'clock go and sit live. It just, between work demands and kids and family and community and organizations, it just doesn't work well. So I'm always happy to be able to do things on demand as well.
Well, and in general, like I'm one of those people that I can't like just fold laundry in silence or mop my floors. I need to be listening to something. So I just like any podcast or anything else audible. It's easy for anyone to just listen right on in on, on their timeline.
For sure. So check it out, andrewyaggie.com/webinar. Go take a look at it. I think you'll get some tidbits. I know, honestly, Kayla, you even gave me a few tidbits or clarified a few things that I wasn't 100% clear on.
Oh man, I'm glad I could help. Well, thanks for being part of it, Andy, and we'll see if we get some people to register. So
for sure, already have had a couple of people who have watched it. So we'll as we really haven't done much to roll it out, but as we get it out there, I think it'll be a good tool.
Yeah, we'll have to report back and share any successes that we have with home buyers.
For sure. Kayla, speaking of buying, I was on realtor.com the other day, just kind of reading through some news, and it was talking about unique homes, and they featured an old Minnesota grain elevator turned into an adult playground with a spiral sliding climbing wall. It's listed for sale, and that's just up the road from us, Kayla. Have you seen this?
I hadn't. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've probably seen this building. I didn't realize what was inside of it.
Yeah, so from the outside, it looks like an old wood cribbed elevator where, hey, they left, well, this must be a dust collection or screening collection bin or whatever, and kind of looks like a rickety old abandoned elevator. But you get inside, and wow, it's pretty cool. So this group that's had it, I think they've been Airbnb-ing it. But as you can see, I mean, really some cool things, a slide, and a variety of different amenities. So kind of surprised it hasn't sold yet, but it is kind of a unique property. It's got a climbing wall. You can see that there. It's a unique property and, kind of a secluded place. But wow, wouldn't that be a lot of fun?
Yeah, I think about people with like dogs that want to just like be out, in the middle of nowhere and hang out. And I don't know. Would you ever invest in something like that, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, maybe down the road. I think one thing that I learned from one of my mentors is even, if an opportunity or a deal comes to you, certainly make an offer, certainly look through it and just offer on as many things as you can. If you don't like it, obviously you're probably not going to put a very good offer in, and you're maybe not going to get most of them, but you might be surprised at, what might work out or what someone's willing to take, at which point, well, now it's time to figure out the financing piece.
Well, and it's just unique too, because you have to think about who would be your ideal, individual that would rent that out. Like, who do you think it would be? Like, that's so unique.
Yeah, I don't know. And the problem is, like, I would say, like, right off the bat, like bachelor parties or bachelorettes, guys' weekend, girls' weekend. But, it's also a little bit of a hike, I mean, it's not incredibly far from Fargo, but, it just, if someone's coming to the city for the weekend, I mean, unless, if you're doing a retreat or something and you want to stay on site in one location, it probably would be kind of cool. But
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting property.
I think financing it would be very difficult. I will say that. So, I mean, has to be a unique financing.
Maybe for you, but that's
for me.
More of an in-house type of deal.
Yep. But it's interesting.
Or would it be a problem secondary market conventional?
Yeah, I don't think we could find any comparables. So
sure.
Yeah. But thanks for sharing. I didn't know that was even out there. So that's interesting.
Kayla, one final thing that popped up, we always talk about, home buying, and we talk about expenses, and the
Yep.
problem that, there are so many issues with affordability these days, which
Yeah.
are, forcing more people to rent, which again,
Mhm.
we know from a couple of episodes, again, the average individual who rents has a net income of roughly
10,000?
$10,000 versus a homeowner on average nationwide.
Um, a million? I don't remember. 800?
400,000.
Dang, I think I guessed right last time.
Yeah, it was 400,000 on average. So we talk about the benefits of
Mhm.
homeownership, just kind of that forced appreciation, and a variety of reasons, of course. But one big factor why affordability is such an issue is property taxes,
Yeah.
special assessments. And I came across this as well, Kayla, that was talking about 2026 and it being the beginning of the end for homeowner
Mhm.
property taxes, and talked about a variety of state lawmakers, um, kind of thinking that that's the case, or that might be the case, or they're working towards it. And what really caught my eye about this is North Dakota, kind of being on the forefront and probably being one of the best positioned states, to eliminate taxes and replace lost revenue. Um, Talking about how Governor Armstrong outlined a plan that would commit 483 million of the state's general fund plus earnings from oil and the oil tax savings account to offset property tax cuts and credits. What do you think about that? How awesome would that be in North Dakota if your property tax bill went away?
I mean, we would see such an influx of buyers because we don't just have taxes, there's specials as well in Fargo. And a lot of times we'll run payments for clients and they're shocked. They're like, well, I ran the math on principal and interest. Why is it 900 bucks more for escrow? And it's because of taxes, insurance, and specials. And I think that that would be wild. I think that that would be such a lift because of how expensive it is to live in Fargo because of that. So I don't know what will happen. I mean, it's a great idea, but will it get implemented? Who knows? But it would be a huge shift for buyers.
Well, and I think a couple things to be clear on. So I don't think they've talked about specials at all, and it
Yeah,
certainly wouldn't totally wipe out taxes, at least not initially. But
right.
talks about it would deliver up to $1,550 in initial annual relief
Mhm.
per household, but that would still be huge. It would increase every 2 years and gradually rely on oil tax earnings, um, and the like. I, I
Well,
I I know you could find something to do with that extra money.
oh, for sure. I mean, it's 130-ish bucks a month. Plus, right
Mhm.
now, there's that primary tax credit that people can apply for. So right now, we're seeing $1,600 a year off of people's bills, and that's helpful too. Um, and each year, taxes go up, your insurance goes up, and if you're not making more money in your job, like that's more money coming out of your pocket every year. So I think any type of incentive is a great incentive. Yes, it wouldn't completely eliminate it, but I mean, 130 bucks a month is super helpful.
Right on. Well, we'll
Mhm.
see. We'll
Yeah,
certainly be watching that in the news in the legislature this year. It'd be kind of cool to see it. I don't think
yeah.
there's any hope of that in Minnesota anytime soon, as it seems to be on a
Mhm.
totally different page and spend, but spending and fraud, but we'll be hopeful. But
You know
anyway,
I saw something speaking of fraud. I was looking at something this morning and I saw that the whole daycare thing, I won't get into the details, but it was like $3,400 per household that technically came out of pockets when you think about the big scheme of things,
really,
and it's like, yeah, I don't know where the truth lies or where the truth sits, but it's like that could save people some money too.
yeah, that's huge. That's upsetting,
Super
especially when
helpful.
you look at the cost of
Yeah.
actual daycare,
Mhm.
living in groceries and everything else. Uh, I had found this on the Fargo Forum website, Kayla, where it talked about FM Metro saw 43% drop in leased
Yeah.
retail space in 2025. And, um, obviously we're talking more about Minnesota now, but, I think a big reason why there are those
Mhm.
issues in the Fargo Moorhead area, and it's not unique to Fargo, it's all across the country. In fact, we're seeing a lot of, commercial debt being defaulted on, or in the process, or on the verge of being defaulted, and a big piece is affordability. a lot more people shopping online, relying on online vendors, and just
Yeah.
with the economy not doing as well, people staying home, not maybe some not out to eat as much or out to look at these shops. So, we look at what's happening in Fargo, and then you look at, the Minnesota fraud piece, and the $3,400, if that is indeed the number, I mean, that's huge. That would make a huge difference, putting that back in people's pockets versus bureaucratic enabled fraud.
Yeah, I mean, and I do understand too, like it's cold in Fargo and people shop online. I don't remember the last time I went into a store to shop for clothing. I was just telling Taryn that yesterday. I ordered some shoes online. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go into the store and return them. How inconvenient. You know what I mean? So I never thought of it like that, but that could be a really big reason. But man, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of great content for episode 99.
99.
The end of the double digits. Great connecting with you as always, Kayla. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
I will if you will.
See ya.
Bye.